everyone always talks about culture, community. Like you
Mhm.
hear that a lot in CrossFit, and which is great. I mean, that's what we should be promoting. But I think that you have to really show that through your brand, and not just the brand, but also leadership. Everything comes down from leadership. So
Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Gym Owners Growth Zone podcast, the show designed to help gym owners improve and grow their businesses. I'm your host, Andres Escobar, and I'm so grateful to have you join us today. Today we have Billy Noethig from CrossFit Crazy Train, a true force to be reckoned with. He's hailing from the vibrant city of West Palm Beach, and this 32-year-old dynamo proudly embraces his Guatemalan heritage and his unwavering advocacy for holistic well-being. He's passionately champions health in all dimensions, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Prepare to be inspired by his unwavering dedication to empowering others in their transformative journey. And if this is your first time listening to the show, please consider subscribing to the podcast and share this episode with someone whom you think will enjoy it. And as we dive into the episode, listen to how Billy overcomes his major business challenges for his CrossFit with the help of a body of council members. Hey guys, welcome back to the Gym Owners Growth Zone podcast. I am here today with Billy, and Billy runs a CrossFit gym locally. And I said, why don't you come here? Let's just knock this out together. I really enjoyed what we did last time. And so, Billy, we've been in touch for a while now, and I know a little bit about you and your story, but I love for the audience to understand where you came from and where you are now. Just give us a little brief synopsis.
yeah.
Awesome.
So my name is Billy Noething. I'm a West Palm Beach native. Not too many of us around here. My business, Crazy Train CrossFit. We've been around 9 years. And yeah, so started off a small gym, not too many members, like most gyms do. And then, of course, over time you grow, and then now we're one of the OGs in the neighborhood now. I
Yeah.
guess you could call us. Yeah. So, and then again, I'm a native, so been in the neighborhood. I know lots of people in the neighborhood as well. So it's cool, that gives us that nice tight community feel to the gym and all the other businesses around.
Yeah, we're gonna get a little more into his story and understand and unwrap it a little bit. So, because it's so interesting, because every gym owner that I interview has a similar story, but it's different. And so, Billy goes to me, "Hey, do you mind if I come raw?" I'm like, dude, I would appreciate it if you come raw, because we want authentic. I think that's the most attractiveness thing for a leader, to be, transparent. And I think we're both leaders. We're running our businesses. We're doing things in to help and impact the world, but first starting with people, right? And so, you know, I like to look at life as a roller coaster, as you saw in the questions that we ask. Ups and downs, left and right, dude. Sometimes I feel personally where that turn is coming. I see it coming, and I'm like, oh, hopefully the railing doesn't pop off and we fly off, and next thing you know, we're off track completely, right? And so, you know, what are the handrails that you hold on to? What are the things that help you stay on track so you don't go flying off? You can trust that handrail is going to hold you securely and take you to that goal, that mission that you have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
So I mean, that's a perfect question. And every time that roller coaster starts to happen, because I actually recently just had another low,
Mm.
but then right before that, it was like a really, really high. So just like a roller coaster, those moments when I start to have those lows, the two main things that I focus on is, one is my faith, and my faith, as you asked earlier,
Yeah.
I do have my faith in God, and I'm Christian. So that's the number one thing, because I remember from the very beginning when I was starting up the business. I mean, I had no clue what I was doing and no clue where I was going to end up being, and all these years later, um, that's the one thing I held on to. And then now, because again, 9 years down the road, experience. So I always like to remind myself, been there. So let's weather through it. Of course, not just sit there and expect for things to happen, but um, you know, I have done it before, so I know I can do it again, kind of thing.
So what I heard from there is your faith is a big thing to
Mm-hmm.
hold and secure, and yeah, that's huge. And the bigger faith you have, the more I think I know you can accomplish, right? Because at one point it's like, you know what, you've seen it before, where it's like, you know what, I'm done. I don't believe in this anymore. I'm just gonna go do something else. I'm gonna go. This didn't work, right? And it's just a reminding you of the movie Facing the Giants. I think that's what it's called. The guy is in the football field, and the coach wants him to bear walk with another guy on back of him the whole length of the football field, and he said blindfold yourself, so he doesn't know where he's at. And I say this because he doubted himself that he wouldn't be able to do like 10 yards, let alone the whole football field. The man, in the movie, obviously, and he did the whole football field
Mm-hmm.
because the coach was like, didn't give up, pushed him, pushed him, pushed him. And sometimes we need that. We
Yeah,
need that faith. And maybe somebody else, people around you,
yeah,
that faith, For me, I have people in my life that help speak that. And so it's so important to have that community. And I think, running CrossFit, one thing I admire about CrossFit, the community that you create is huge. Like the culture in your gym, if it's not solid, I was talking about this with another gym owner, Anytime Fitness, and he was a guest on the show, Kyle Henning, and he talks about like the culture. He's like, he's getting a whole bunch of reviews. It's fantastic. I'm like, dude, some gyms are not getting as many reviews as you are. He's a customer of ours, and it's like, but you are, because of the culture. Like it starts with that. Like if you don't have a solid culture, like tell me about that, dude. Like in your gym, and it's called
crazy.
Crazy Train CrossFit, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I don't know. I always say this, and it's funny to me. It's alliteration. I love alliteration. If you're able to use alliteration in your marketing, please do.
I mean, every time I get asked about the name, they know. I mean, they know why they're asking, and they always think Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne. And I mean, there's a train. There's train that passes by the gym, so we hear the train all the time.
All the time.
But that's not like the main reason. There's not just one.
Mm,
There's a lot of ways you can take and turn. I mean, crazy training. A lot of people like to
cool.
say.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of things. A
Yeah,
lot of
the
things
roller
to say.
coaster could be a crazy train. Like
Roller
that's
coaster.
you
Yeah,
know
yeah,
we
yeah.
can put that. Like,
It's marketing.
see how I did that? Like
Yeah.
that's like roller coaster. Oh, dude, I didn't even. Dude, I don't know, a little
Look
pat of
at
my
you.
I'm patting my own back there. It's
That's
not
why you do
attractive,
this.
but it's cool, man. I like that. It's a good name. More meaning, and I think if there's more than one meaning to do something, more than one reason to do something, you do it. It's like, yeah, that's the name. That's what we choose. So I love that, dude. Love
Yeah,
that.
and this is the logo. So if you ever see this,
Yeah.
this is Crazy Train. So
Yeah. Oh, let's
yeah.
see it. I see the T right there.
Yep.
Oh,
See
sweet.
it too. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Yeah. See.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Very.
But to go back to your question about the culture, man, something is it's very important. One for me, but it's also very cliche. Everyone always talks about culture, community. Like you
Mhm.
hear that a lot in CrossFit, and which is great. I mean, that's what we should be promoting. But I think that you have to really show that through your brand, and not just the brand, but also leadership. Everything comes down from leadership. So obviously, I'm speaking about myself because I am the owner. Um, Everything that trickles down afterwards into the gym is all going to come from me, my personality,
Mhm.
to my beliefs, how I like to operate, everything, because it's just the business. I am the business,
Mhm.
and that's what everyone is when they have a brand. Is you are the business.
Yeah.
Um, which can be good and bad, because depending on who you are and how you are, you have to make sure that you're holding yourself accordingly. But yeah, when it comes to mine, is like, I mean, I say it all the time, and I hear it from my members that we have like a really solid foundation, I like to say, and that's our community, and that's the base of it. And then everything else that comes from the gym is from that. um, so we're very inclusive, very diverse. I mean, I think I'm one of the probably the only one that has a full coaching staff that coaches in Spanish too, which is not big in Palm
Wow.
Beach.
No, that's
Miami,
not.
yeah, of course.
Of course.
Of course, the more south you go, that's that becomes the primary language. But
Miami is North Cuba, so that's all you need to
North
know.
Cuba, yeah, it is North Cuba. That's the first time I heard like that.
You need a passport to enter the border.
Yeah, literally, yeah. You go anywhere, and that's the language they're gonna speak,
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to say I'm the only one, or uh, one of the few that has Spanish speaking or a full staff that speaks Spanish. Because I have a lot of Latin clients, being that I'm Hispanic,
Yeah.
so that they're gonna feel more trusting of going somewhere that they can communicate well, which makes sense, you know.
What's your background?
Guatemalan.
Spanish. Guatemalan.
Yeah,
Okay.
my both my parents are from Guatemala. I'm born and raised, like I was saying, from here, from West Palm.
Yeah.
But I've been plenty times, and I love everything about the Guatemalan culture. It's
Yeah.
like that's a side hobby of mine that I love to learn about, like Mayans and
Nice.
all of that, and anything that's Mayan, Guatemalan culture. That's
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
I love his the Crazy Train CrossFit is right next to a coffee shop that I love is Pump House, and they have a
Shout out to
great
Pump House.
shout out to Pump House. They have a
Good.
great Guatemalan coffee, and then this coffee, dude, I love it. The next thing is that we have like obstacles, and you off camera you talked about an obstacle, and you don't need to talk about it now, but obviously COVID's a gym obstacle by far for everyone. I don't know which gym that did not have an obstacle, and some people, flowers afterwards, phenomenal, but it still was an obstacle. So, challenges that you have in business, I'd love to understand, how you overcame it. Like, what was the thing that helped you get through it?
Mm-hmm. Well, thankfully, I have like my council, I like to call it, and they're my group of people that I always go to whenever I need help. And I'm also just putting this out there for anyone that also likes to think they're self-made. I'm not a believer in self-made. There's no
Love it.
such thing, because you always have someone that helped you to some extent.
Yeah.
So you can't really say you're self-made.
I love that. I just want to say, like, I feel the same way. I'm with you. I think what we connected, and something that also he said that nobody ever said to me either off camera was like, I don't like David Goggins. I'm like, dude, I feel the same way. And what was the reason you said it? Because it's the same reason I feel like, you had to use profanity. Like every third word is profanity, and like, listen, nothing against that. Like, listen, he said he's gonna come raw. I was like, yeah, if you can curse, like, just don't make it like every third word. And then we got into that.
Yeah,
And so
if that's your way of getting your message across, then I don't think your message is that powerful. It's just the expression of the cursing. That's what gives it that.
yeah,
But then I feel like then there's no weight to the message.
yeah,
So
same.
there's many ways that you can get a message across, and it'll be a lot more impactful into someone, without having to be like so just
Yeah,
nail driving into them.
yeah. I said it could be an emphasis word to really bring attention to whatever matter. Like, but it can't be like every day. If you're cursing every day, like, you
Grab
probably
a
need to say
dictionary.
a self what?
Grab a dictionary.
Yeah, grab a dictionary. Self awareness, like, look into why you're doing that. Anyways, distracting from the obstacle question, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah. So yeah, my counsel. That's the people that I go to, because I know I can't do it myself, and they're all of them. They're older than me, so they all, and most of them have their own businesses, or higher up in businesses. So I know they have a lot more experience than I do. A lot more. They're a lot more wise than I am. So they're the ones that I go to and ask questions and see if there's some tips and something that they can give me. Obviously, even them, because of their age, they haven't experienced anything that we were all experiencing at the same time. But just overcoming like obstacles and stuff like that, they have a better grasp at that in someone that like me that was just kind of getting a little worried.
Could you share something you're cool with the audience about maybe an obstacle you brought up to the council and how they helped you through it? I would love to hear that story.
Can't think of one particular story, but it's always like just when I'm having like a low of well, obviously membership was low.
Sure.
So that was the main thing. I need to get people back in and get people to not be as afraid of walking into places again, and back to normal life. So it really was just marketing that and that's a lot of what they told me. But of course, like there's more to than just marketing that we're a safe environment, clean
Mm-hmm.
environment, all that, which is important for CrossFit gyms. So if you're not, well, gyms in general and anywhere in general, if you're not doing that, you're that's the bare minimum that you should be doing
Yeah.
for your business. Because I mean, if you have a client that's coming to work with you, they should trust that because it is a health environment. Health starts with cleanliness. So put a big input in for gyms.
Yeah. If you
But
didn't know, you're in the category health, wellness, and fitness. It's a true business category, and it's always together. And the perspective is it's not just about getting strong. It's the whole world of life and
health,
personal health.
health.
Health for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so marketing that, but just being able to hold myself from being overwhelmed, at the moment, and sticking to what I typically do. And that's just, again, going back to the roots of it, of just being myself, and continue serving the people of the community. And yeah, I think that's the one thing that they usually share with me, and that always sticks.
So good. Yeah, back to community, dude.
Yeah.
Back to community, man. I
Yeah.
love it. Love
Yeah.
it. Dude, so this is actually a platform where I love to give to gym owners to just air out the issues they see right now in the fitness industry. So let's pretend this is a magic wand, right? And so I'm giving it to you as like, okay, what is it that you see is a problem? And if we could fix it right now with this magic wand, what would that problem be? And how would you fix it? Or not how do you fix it, but just what the problem? I really just want to, we don't know what you think is the biggest problem.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems currently in this time is how many fitness gurus popped up out of the woodworks during quarantine. Everyone is a trainer, or everyone is a nutrition coach, or whatever coach. That I think is one of the biggest problems that a lot of us are dealing with, because a lot of information is not true. Like there's this one guy, I don't know his name, but he keeps popping up as an ad on YouTube. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure everyone else has seen it. And this, I forget his name too. He owns another, like a supplement company, but they also do nutrition. And now he's very well known. I'm sorry, drawing blanks with names, but I was just watching his video speak on this guy, and like taking his video, dissecting it, breaking it down, and explaining to people how a lot of the information he's really just saying doesn't have anything to back it up. He's a good marketer, and that's basically what it is. And that's what a lot of these people are. They're great marketers because they always say at the end, follow me or DM me or this to get more blah blah blah. Like, well, I mean, if you're really about your information, you put it out. Of course, you're not going to give everything, but don't leave people with just that marketing phrase, or couple things, whatever they're trying to put out. Show that you actually have weight to what you're saying.
Yeah. It's like, people say, "God, you shouldn't be a judgmental person." Like, well, no, you should judge people and find out, what their intentions and their truth are. Because if you don't, like, back to society, like when we first were savages, right? Some of us are still savages. We need to figure out, hey, are you friend or are you foe? And if we're not judging that, then we're gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
We misjudge somebody as a friend or as a foe, and it's like, oh, we lose out or we get hurt. It's important. So important, dude. Yeah. Be careful, guys. Be careful for sure. Yeah. Actually, this question popped up. So how would you judge? How would you, what are the character traits? What would you, if somebody does pop up on your feed, what do you look at, and what do you like making sure? Like, what are you testing to say, okay, is this what he's saying correct? How do you test? How do you figure that out? Like, hey, it's on the internet, it must be true, right? We know that's not to be true, not to be trusted.
Yeah. I mean, there's always reviews. You can always,
yes,
you can always see reviews.
Yeah.
That's a big
Hopefully.
thing. Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. I like to just like scroll, if I'm on their social media page, scroll down, and you can, I mean, if you dig deep enough, you can see, how long the person's been doing it, if it's something that they've been doing it for quite some time. And of course, I know that's not the only way because there's also certifications, school, just a lot of schooling. I'm also a believer you don't need to have all these certifications to be a great coach, to be whatever, because I mean, you can continue your education and have the bare minimum and be a phenomenal coach. And I know plenty. Actually, one of my the jobs before the gym, I used to work at the bank, which not a lot of people know,
Nice.
but I used to work at the bank, and I remember my branch manager. He had no degree, nothing. And like I said, he's the branch manager, but he had no degree, nothing. But he worked his way up
Right.
through experience. But he started from the very bottom. So I'm a believer on that too. So you don't have to have a million certifications to be a credible person.
Right.
You can. I think a person, and of course there are people that don't have the greatest judgment, but I think majority of us can kind of sense when someone's honest, someone is doing work that's good, and when someone's doing work for money and for all the wrong
Right.
reasons or whatever. I want to say and I want to believe that majority of us have a good sense of that. So at least that's how I operate,
Yeah.
And I don't want to look at, oh, this person has a million certs and then okay, I'm sold on them, because I've also run on the opposite side where they have a million certs and they are a terrible person
Right.
or don't have any connection with people, and that's something that you need. That's not going to ever show up on your resume. It's not something that you can be
No.
taught. If you don't know how to connect with people, that you can't teach anyone.
Yeah. How do you put soft skills on a resume? That's tough, right? It's like,
It's
oh
like, what
yeah,
is that?
you're good with people.
I'm soft. Okay, sure. Well, how?
Yeah. How? Yeah.
Yeah.
So true. So true. Love it. Buy everywhere. Awesome. Cool, dude. So, you know, the stories that we tell ourselves and the people that we're around, which is a theme for this episode. I think it's, we get influenced by in our personal life, we get influenced in our business life. And what is someone in your life that has influenced you and positively impacted you? Goal is a beautiful word to hear when you're scoring on the soccer field. This last World Cup was won by Argentina because of one important player. Yeah, you got it. It was the goalie. He secured the win for the team, and in the same way, ReviewBiz platform will catch negative reviews before they go online. In addition, it helps you score and promote fresh new reviews so you can crush the competition. So don't let those big box gyms take your clients. ReviewBiz will help you build your online presence and turn your own members into your best sales reps. Get your first 5 reviews for only $1. All you got to do is go to reviewbiz.io/try to get started.
Like who or how?
Who? Yeah.
Man, it's hard to say. I don't have like one specific person because I mean, there's just people that have come in and out of my life or that are still around. Um, I like to watch from a distance and with people in general.
Mm-hmm.
I never like to be like kind of like in the spotlight, which I mean that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
I mean, I'm more comfortable these days than before. But regardless, any chance I get to just kind of sit back and watch, I do get inspired by many people and seeing how people overcome life. That's honestly one of the biggest things for me is just watching people, how resilient people can be,
Yeah.
how determined, um, like how consistent some people are.
Yeah.
Those are some things I really look at people because I try to implement that a lot in my life. And which I mean, um, motivation is something that can go up and down. But if you're consistent and you're disciplined, I didn't say that before, but if you're consistent and disciplined, you don't have to worry too much about motivation because again, that and motivation changes. I mean, you get older, we grow, our interests, our dislikes change.
Yeah.
So whatever motivated you before might not motivate you now. Whatever. So, yeah, man, I'm just inspired by people. And that's why I do what I do because I love people.
Yeah. I would say you probably, if you were to pick a movie, like inspiration movie would be like Boom. Let's go for that one, dude. Is there anyone that you like? Like I know I'm putting you on the spot. I didn't prep you here, but I love watching movies. By the way,
I'm a big
yeah,
movie enthusiast.
yeah.
I love the theaters. I like, for me, it's all about the experience.
Like it's like going to the theater. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Believe this or not, I actually like show tunes. Like I love Hamilton. Like that, and actually they're coming to the Kravis Center, dude.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
Hamilton. The Kravis Center is a big theater here, like opera type. But yeah, Hamilton is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I've heard many. I haven't seen it, but
Yeah.
one of my members always talks about
Yeah.
Hamilton.
That's so good.
And their dancers too. So yeah, but I've heard a lot of great things about it.
Yeah. If you like hip hop too, Hamilton because has a mixtape with like, oh dude, all these artists, Busta Rhymes in there, Nas is in there, you know. So, anyways, it's just.
Are you a hip hop fan?
Oh yeah, bro. Come
Come
on.
on.
90s hip hop at that, bro. Come on, man. I mean, 80s hip hop for sure. But 90s hip hop was
that's the
like
golden era, man.
real, yeah, that's where like a lot of things got fine tuned because this is still defining itself in the 80s, and so in the 90s are like, oh, okay, branching and going into things, and so yeah, for real.
90s are the best, man. Nas is my favorite.
Nas Escobar.
he just dropped Magic 3.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been
the same feel though, because I feel sometimes the artists come back and they're like, oh, they're reinvented themselves and it's different sound and stuff.
He's
same.
So in the last 2 years, in the last 2 years since 2001, he dropped 6 albums and with the same producer, and only got better. Only got better.
One of my other favorites is Common.
Common is also on my tops.
KRS-One.
KRS-One. I met KRS at Revolution.
Oh, nice.
Some years ago. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, bro. I love it. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we can do a whole podcast on hip hop. That's a long one.
Yeah. How it affected in your life and stuff for sure. Yeah. Big time for sure. Love it, dude. Love it. So the influence, obviously, hip hop, and you have that there. So what this is one question that, we are in the Gym Owners Growth Zone podcast, and I like to ask, what's something that inhibited your growth or that really made it go, like, take it to the next level? And so either or, you can answer either or, you can answer both. But I love to know what was something that you say, oh, this one really held me back, or this one, if I would have done this sooner, boom, dude, the growth was like exponential.
I mean, kind of just going a little bit what you just said a little bit ago about being myself, and I mean, actually, yes, hip hop does have a big influence. Not to steer out too much out the question, but my biggest dream my entire life was to become a sound engineer.
Wow.
Which I did move to LA after high school to go to the LA recording school. Unfortunately, a lot of events happened where it just didn't happen the way I wanted it to go. And I mean, I was also 18, so I left pretty prematurely, didn't have the experience and whatever, but came back home. Didn't finish off that dream, but also I wouldn't be here today having this podcast with you had I stayed.
Right.
I might be, winning a Grammy or something.
Bigger, better things or different things. You never know. You never know. Right.
But hip hop has had a big influence on my life, and I mean, seeing how hip hop has changed over the years, its growth in just people's lives, the influence it's had in our lives and around the world. But that's the big side of it. But as far as like bringing it down to the gym level, the business level, like I have always said that I'm just like, I'm bred through hip hop. Like I'm a student of hip hop, and so everything that I do is basically hip hop. I mean, I have it tattooed on my leg and everything too.
Oh wow.
So my style, the music we play in the gym,
right?
Like most CrossFit gyms, I can only really speak for CrossFit gyms because I don't own a traditional gym or any other gym. But most CrossFit gyms, they're pretty tailored. I want to say they have like the same playlists, the same type of songs. As far as like flags in the gym, everything is the same. And I told you earlier off camera, I'm very unorthodox. I'm very different. I mean, not only just from being Spanish speaking or only Spanish speaking gym, but everything. I mean, everything. I'm probably the most urban gym in Palm Beach County. And again, I can't speak for other areas because that's not where I'm
Right.
at. So I'm really only speaking on my county, but I'm pretty sure in a lot of areas too. But yeah, we're the only urban gym.
Yeah.
It's very diverse. Like I have probably, I don't know, maybe like 75% Hispanics in the gym. And actually, there's more women in my gym than there is men too, which is another thing that is very different from most CrossFit gyms
CrossFit.
too,
Yeah.
because
CrossFit.
it's
Yeah.
it's intimidating, and I
Sure.
understand it. Um, so, and kind of like going to those artists we were talking about from hip hop, they're more poetic, more not so just like aggressive,
Mm,
and then that reflects into my style.
love it.
I'm not as aggressive as like some gyms are where it's like militant. Some people don't want that. Some people want to come in and just want a great workout. They want to sweat. They're not trying to compete
Yeah.
because that's what a lot of CrossFit is, especially when you watch the Netflix documentaries and all that. Um, so you feel like that's what it has to be like, but it doesn't. And that's everything that a CrossFit gym doesn't have to be is what I try to be. Um, Not everything I'm going to sit here and say, but
Yeah.
majority of things.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be like everyone else. I stay in my lane and I know my lane and I do it well.
I love it because I think as a general public, we lump CrossFit into like one section, and CrossFit really can, like you said, more poetic and more. Yours is more women, so 65, right? You said, and it's like that's different, that completely different, and so, but it's going to speak to the audience, and I think one thing I take of this in business that I know is like if you're able to speak to a certain audience, you're going to seclude other people. That is cool. That's fine. I don't need to speak to them. I only need to speak to certain people, certain demographic. They're here, the voice and what we stand for, because I stand for this and I stand against that. And so you're either with me or without me. One person does that very well, very not orthodox as well, is Donald Trump. He draws the line and you're either with him or not with him, but you see he has fans, and so that's it, and that's a same idea. Love it, dude. We have reached the final five. Is it final five? No, fast five. I don't know why I like final five. It's not final fast five.
That sounded cool. Yeah,
Kind of
final
cool.
five
I'm
sounds
gonna
cool.
rename it final fast five. Is where we're at. And so, you know 5 questions I ask you, uh one sentence answers, and then we move on to the next one.
Okay.
Cool. Who is an influential person or people in your life or your business journey?
So one of my members and good friend, Scott. So I don't know, sure, I'm not sure if he's going to see this, but he's probably, I want to say, one of the most influential people, and as well as Jenny. Actually, them two in general, and they actually, I put them on a video in the gym, and you can see that on our Instagram. But I'd say they are probably the top two most influential people in my business.
Are they members, or how do they know you?
Both members.
Both members. Interesting.
Yeah. And
Wow. I
they
never
both
heard
found
that.
me.
That's
I
awesome.
didn't find them, or I wasn't doing any marketing or anything like
Mm.
that. They just became members, and they've both been members since 2017.
Wow.
So long time.
That is,
Long
dude.
time.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Never think customers being influential, but they are. They need to be. They need
Yeah.
to influence you in how you take your business, and for sure, and you're servicing them.
Yeah.
So I love that. That's awesome. What's one thing you wish you had known when you began your business?
Actually, kind of going back to what I do now is being myself. I wish I was more myself in the beginning.
More.
Yeah. I wish I was more myself in the beginning.
Love it. What's a book, a blog, podcast, some kind of media that you recently consumed that positively impacted you?
I'd say, well, I mean, it's there's a page called Man Talks.
Okay.
Man Talks. He's it's a lot about mental health.
Okay.
And it's mostly for men. But I mean, women can use it too. Women can read it as well. But I'd say that has helped me the most and has influenced me the most to just have to be more level headed.
Who writes that by any chance?
I forget his name.
That's
Honestly.
all right. That's all right. No, good. But it's a webpage, Man Talks. Check it out. Want to tick that out for sure. Uh, this question, next one is, what's your favorite online tool?
Favorite online tool? I mean, the one I use the most is Instagram for the gym. So that's my marketing. I mean,
Makes
I
sense.
actually recently have been trying to be a little more creative myself
Yeah.
because I mean I have a videographer, I have a photographer, but obviously they're not there every day, and there's moments that I want to catch when they're not there.
Mm-hmm.
So I do it myself and get a little creative and fun and put the music to it that I like,
Mm.
not the
Are you using
typical.
CapCut?
I have not used CapCut yet,
Oh, dude, you
but
gotta
everyone keeps
use.
telling me about it.
Check out CapCut. So good. What's one habit or practice that you believe everybody would benefit from?
Hmm. uh, Taking 1 hour for yourself a day.
One
And
hour.
one
Wow,
hour.
that's huge.
And I think that's minimal. I think you should, if
Really?
anything,
Okay.
maybe a little more than that. In different parts, like not all at once.
Yeah.
So, one, a great way is fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So taking time to put your
Gotcha.
phone down, get away from your whatever your normal day looks like, whether it be family, business, whatever. Step away from your routine. And yeah, I think that practice will help you a lot.
You know, one practice I started, was it this month? It's this month. It was my birthday this month, by the way.
Happy
So
birthday,
thanks,
man.
man. Appreciate it. 46, by the way, if anyone's thinking about.
Looks 36.
Huh?
Looks
I look
36.
36. Yeah. So the practice is 5 minutes of stillness. I'm reading the book "Stillness is the Key" by Ryan Holiday, and he influenced me into doing that. And I was like, and we're right next to the beach, so and the park right across you, like where your gym is. I forget the name of it.
Howard Park.
Howard Park. I go there, and those trees are magnificent. So sometimes I'll just 5 minutes there, chill, look up to the sky, whatever it is, or the beach. Like today, I actually went to the beach, 5 minutes, and like I know we had an interview, like, but I need to take 5 minutes,
Yeah,
right there,
yeah.
and we're literally probably like 10 minutes away in the car to drive to the beach from here. It's so simple. It's gotta take advantage, take opportunities where they are. So that's for me, this practice that
No, it's important.
Yeah.
What I used to do in my early days.
When you said an hour, I'm like, I can't do this for an hour.
Yeah.
But I get it. Working
Yeah.
out and doing your thing is an hour. It makes sense.
But that's good too, because I mean there was so in the early days of the gym, I mean there was some moments where I just had some really low moments, and I needed to kind of just get away, and but it was more like a take five kind of thing.
Mhm.
My favorite thing was going to the intercoastal. So I would always go to the intercoastal, either just sit there by the ledge and just sit and breathe,
Yeah.
or I'd go under the bridge, under the Okeechobee Bridge,
Uh-huh. Oh, wow.
and just like kind of hear the waves crash against the bridge. And
Mm.
for me, that's I love ASMR sounds and all that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like that alone, 5 minutes, that's all I need.
Love it. No, it's
That's all
so
I
good.
need.
So
Yeah.
good. Actually, this is a question I've been playing with, and I haven't asked anybody yet on the podcast. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna. The question is, we both know Alex Hormozy, and Alex Hormozy just released a book, $100 million leads, and one of the things he says that is the most important thing in his business, exponential growth. If you guys want exponential growth, what he talks about is referrals. And so, what has been a referral process idea that you use in your gym that has helped you? I don't know if you have a referral process or gym for your gym at all.
I mean, for referrals, the best way is, I mean, people are pouring into the members that I have already.
Right.
So
Key.
pouring into them.
Yeah.
If they enjoy the product, service, they're gonna refer. I mean, and that's really how my marketing has been, or the number one part of my marketing has been for the gym. I mean, we do Instagram, but I don't do many paid ads.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really do anything for generating leads. I just started ClassPass, which is like another marketing tool.
Yeah, they're actually MindBody purchased them.
Yep.
And so, are you using MindBody now?
No, still with Wodify.
Wodify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like, but just pouring into people, man. I mean, that's what CrossFit gyms do, because it's a little bit more like personal training, just in a group setting. So I have that individual time with each person. And I mean, going back to, like I was saying, my council, 2 members, I poured enough time into them, and vice versa. They did to me. So, yeah, for referrals, that's been the number one way.
And we have some time. We kind of rolling pretty well,
We got
so
time.
it's
We
really
got time.
good.
Yeah,
We're good,
yeah,
man. Now I don't like to rush, and anyways,
yeah.
you
Me
know,
neither.
sometimes the conversation goes long. Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. But this is good because we packful, you know, to the point. You know, you mentioned your council. This is not the first time you talked about your council. Are they like your board members of your gym? Like, are they? You know what I mean? Like, are they
Hmm.
like your? They sit on the board of a.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can kind of say that.
you
Yeah,
kind of say,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
cool,
I
cool.
mean, they've helped me make some business decisions because
Wow.
again, because they have more experience than I do. They
Mm,
have one owns a business. One, she's I don't know the title of her position, but she's high up there in business. And I know she has a degree in business too. And so, um, yeah, I mean, I'm not all knowing. Going back to when we were talking
yeah,
about
I love
self
that,
made,
dude.
I'm
Love
not
it.
all knowing, and
Love
there's
it.
a lot of questions that I have, and I mean, something that we're told when we're younger
Yeah.
is there's no such thing as a stupid question.
Right.
So I'll ask 1,000,001 questions so I can, make sure that I understand because I don't want to do things blind,
Yeah.
blinded. Of course, we have to at some point in our life. But if I can get some insight, I always will.
Yeah.
You know.
Dude, it just reminds me of we are a king of our kingdom, right? Of the life we live, whether it's a business or not business. But w- the better the kingdom is because there's wise counsel. You know, a a fool will be true in his own eyes, but a wise person will consider wise advice and a wise, just counsel. It's so
Yeah.
important, so
Yeah.
important, dude. And if you're wondering where I got that from, it's not from me and not, it's actually in Proverbs 12:15. So check that out. Read that little snippet exactly word for word because I just rephrased it
Yeah.
in my own uh, way. But the last question, dude,
And actually, sorry, just to add
oh, please,
to
Ed. Yeah.
what you were saying. I mean, there was a little shift in business for me when and it actually has to deal with faith too.
Yeah.
Where I just needed something. I needed something to have a sign of like, all right, keep going with what you're doing. And we know the story about the mustard seed, and
Mm-hmm.
that's all I need. And that for me, sometimes it could be the smallest thing, and I'm motivated.
Mm.
I don't need a whole lot. But I was reading, or I was listening to a podcast by my favorite pastor, Erwin McManus from LA, Mosaic Church. And so the story he was talking about was, well, the main thing was competition. But one part of the podcast was, in order to be a good king, you have to also learn to be a good servant.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of also like part of everything for me. I wanted to go through the ranks instead of just I'm an owner of a gym and that's it.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I don't, you can have, and that also goes for schooling. You can have all these degrees, but I mean, if you can't come down to the people level,
Yeah.
all that means nothing.
Yeah. One thing I've learned in leadership that, I help a nonprofit organization. And this question is the people you're leading, you got to find out how their heart is. Like, what's going on? How are you
Mm-hmm.
doing before you step into volunteering anywhere? If you're not right, then you probably need to take some time for yourself
Yep.
before you start pouring into others. And so, love that serving and knowing the leadership. That's so good, dude. Love, 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 dude. This is truly the last question. Truly, truly is. I leave the best. One of my favorite questions is. And so, just like I had a magic wand, I also have a time machine. And the time machine allows us to go back in time. And we're going to go back to 14-year-old Billy, little Billy. I think there was a show called Little Billy, right?
Yeah, little Bill.
Little Bill. And and we're gonna go, and you're gonna go there. I'm gonna take you there, and we're gonna talk to him, and we're gonna give him some advice to help him in his life that you know very well. You could speak to his life because you know him. So it's 14-year-old Billy. What do you say to him?
Oof, that's a very packed question.
Mm-hmm.
But without getting too deep, because that 2 years prior to that was a very pivotal moment for myself, but any teenager's life because I lost my dad at 12,
Wow.
who was like that was my guy. and still to this day has so much influence into my life. And I mean, that's an age when you're transitioning from teenager to a young man, and you lose that person that's supposed to kind of teach you and guide you through that. It's difficult, you know, to be able to grow and then become the man that you're supposed to be at 32, you know. Actually, that's 20 years later, and it's actually last month, yeah, August, because we're in August, so 20 years later. But 20 years of experience, to be able to talk to that kid, man, life will be all right. Just don't stress too much, but don't put yourself down. Because I there was a lot of things I told myself as a kid, and they're not the nicest things to say it to yourself. Like, why would you do that? Why would you say that? You know?
Right.
But I guess that, and then I mean, like I said, this can be very packed, but just that alone, I think, is that things will be all right.
Yeah.
Is one thing that I definitely would love to tell that 14-year-old Billy, and to not just have that mindset in the way I would talk to myself.
The self-talk.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself. You're gonna do a lot.
Yeah.
You're gonna do a lot. Love it, dude.
It took me a long time to learn that, to believe in myself. It took me a very long time to finally start that.
Yeah.
And for many people too.
Yeah. No, and losing a dad is huge. So that helps with that, you know, but somebody that believes in you and stuff, hopefully, you know, and you have some people that you express that have influenced you in a great way.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for coming, man.
Thank you.
So good.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure.
All right, y'all. Man, that was such a fun episode. I really enjoyed what Billy said about forging a unique community and culture within his CrossFit. He is also breaking the stigma that it's all about competition to fit into a CrossFit box. What was your favorite takeaway from today's episode? I want you to connect and share a message with me on Instagram at MeetEsco. By the way, that's my personal Instagram, and I would love to hear your thoughts. I want to also thank you for taking the time to listen to today's episode. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe to the show on the platform you're currently listening on. And remember to leave a rating and review, because you know it improves the show and we just love the feedback. It means the world to us. Also, check us out on YouTube. It's the channel filled with a whole bunch of podcasts and other strategies on how to improve your reviews, your sales, and your marketing. So go ahead and check that out right now. By the way, as always, I want to thank you again for your encouragement, and I truly appreciate it. And I'll see you next time in the Gym Owners Growth Zone.